On it?
Yep.
Barely.
We're live.
Okay.
Jeez.
Thanks for the warning.
Hey, everybody. Hope everybody had a blessed Memorial Day. We just kind of been hanging out, pretty uneventful. Watched the race last night. But you know, Memorial Day is for remembering and honoring those fallen heroes. So, you know, I hear people say Happy Memorial Day, and that's all fine and well, but it's hard for me to say Happy Memorial Day because we're actually honoring the fallen heroes, and we're remembering them and thanking them for everything they've done and given the ultimate sacrifice so that we can have the freedom to go NASCAR racing, and we can have the freedom to have cookouts and spend time with our family because of them and their sacrifice. So hope everybody's doing very well. My name is David Hamm, if you don't already know, 25-year NASCAR engine builder. This is my wife, Tracy.
Hello.
I am DHammiam.
I just posted a video like 1 minute ago.
Okay, it's good timing. So we got Chad and Terry and Tom and Jeremy, my cousin, and Heather. That's right. We love our troops. God bless. And Linda Jinks and Brian Spencer.
Brian
All the way
Spencer's
from
on vacation.
Pennsylvania. How about tell me if it's been hot where y'all are? It's been hot as blue blazes here. Somebody in my family used to say that. I think my grandmother used to say that. So it has been very hot here. And tell me where you're at. Tell me how hot it's been. I'm sure it's probably been humid all over this country.
We're having fly attacks here.
I've got a fan going over here.
Between mosquitoes and flies, we're infested with the bugs.
I've got a fan going over here, but I don't guess I have it turned up high enough. But man, it's been scorcher. The humidity is what gets it even worse. And I can't imagine being at the racetrack yesterday. I was thinking that yesterday morning. I was like, it is going to be hot. It was going to be hot.
It was worse Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday was a melter.
Yeah, so for 600 miles, I cannot imagine. And I heard, I think it was Clint Boyer talking about dumping water. He's like, I learned my lesson not to dump water on me before the race because I don't remember what he said. It was kind of funny. It's almost like end up with boiled eggs by the end of the race, because you know I think water actually helps transfer heat. Like if you ever grab a hot pan with a wet towel versus grabbing it with a dry towel, the heat transfers so much quicker. So if you're hot inside a race car, don't dump water on you before the race. You're going to end up with fried eggs, is what he called it. Thought that was pretty funny. So anyway, we are going to talk about the Coca-Cola 600 that happened yesterday, which was, what was the date yesterday? May the 26th, 2019. And I think the last 600 I went to was probably about 4 or 5 years ago. It seemed like it used to rain like every time, just about. And the traffic was really bad, and it was usually pretty hard to get out of there. But I think a lot of the campers could leave today. You know, that was one of the things that saved the 600 since it was on a Sunday and everybody's got Monday off. So anyway, if you're wondering what this shirt is, our tribute to the troops. We have a buddy here in Statesville named Rocky Lynn, who's from Statesville, and he does a lot of concerts, a lot of benefits, and the Chillbillies are involved in it. We do some things to help. What he does is he travels and does a lot of concerts, raises money to support the fallen heroes and provide education for their kids. Like he sent, I think he said it was like 13 of their fallen heroes, troops that have passed away, sent their kids to college. And he helps with building homes for the families of the troops that have passed away. So it's a really good deal.
Hi, Tim Johnson.
Hey, Tim Johnson. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And go ahead and put down where you're actually watching from.
So everybody else can know as well.
Yeah. I think I about have it all memorized. but you know,
Where's Brian
it's kind of cool.
Spencer at? Where are you at, Brian?
He's in Pennsylvania, right? But
no, he's on vacation.
I know.
He's got the camper.
Yeah, but yeah. All right, so Coca-Cola 600 finishing order. Linda Jinks is in Pennsylvania. So one of the things I noticed at the beginning of the race, I thought was pretty cool. Darrell Waltrip says, "Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys, and God bless America." So, one of the things about NASCAR, what other sport does as much for this country and the patriotism and remembrance of our fallen heroes and for appreciation of our soldiers and people that keep us safe? What other sport is as patriotic as NASCAR? Having the troops names on the car right across the day. I don't remember. It's been a while since they started doing that. And back when I was going, I went from 95 to 2001. We always had a big deal for Memorial Day for we would have all kinds of things, helicopters and people, soldiers were peeling out of the helicopters and explosions and things going off, cannons on the field. So he said Pennsylvania, Grampian, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And then Tim Johnson says upstate New York, Syracuse. What's that?
He says he likes my scratching.
Oh, you're scratching, yeah. She's a scratcher. She likes doing those. And of course, I post them too on here.
He edits his a little bit more than I do mine.
Yeah, I like to edit mine because I think I like doing all that kind of stuff.
I don't have that skill.
I like doing it. It's kind of neat, and that's always kind of been one of my things to edit stuff, just like building engines. I'm using my hands and my brain to do things, I guess.
So at the NASCAR thing, for the tribute to the troops thing, one of the chefs, the famous chef, was there paying homage as well. He cooked breakfast. No, it wasn't Emerald. It was the guy that does the restaurant things. Anyways.
Oh, okay.
People know who he is. You can recognize his face. Anyways, cool. Yeah, he was there
RD Ford.
as well.
He was where?
RD Ford is here at the Speedway.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I missed some of it. I mean, I was
sleeping.
I was in and out.
Laps.
Yeah, I was in and out.
Yeah.
But yes,
I made sure he woke up before the end.
Terry says
Irvine.
Robert Irvine. Okay.
Is that his name? The chef?
Yeah. Okay. Chef Irvine or whatever. So Terry Quinn says, I love how they stopped the race to do tribute. Yes, I was going to mention that. They stopped and did a 30-second moment of silence, which I thought was really cool because that's something else you don't see other sports do. But NASCAR is leading the way in patriotism. And I think that's awesome. And so one of the, I have had ancestors that fought in all the different wars from Civil War on up through World War II.
My grandfather was in the military. And
some cousins that were in the Gulf War and that kind of stuff. But yeah, so one of mine in particular was James Atlas Hamm, who died in June the 14th, 1944, which coincidentally, Tracy's birthday is June 14th and my Aunt Jan. So he died he's buried in St. Lawrence-sur-Mer, France at the American National Cemetery over there. But he was originally killed in action in Blowsville, France. And then his body was interred and moved over there. And I actually had someone send me pictures of the cross. So when you look at my thumbnail for this video, it's me standing there at Charlotte during the 1996 600 race. And on each side of me one side is James Atlas Hamm. He was 18 years old when he passed away. He was in the 401st Glider Infantry Division, 101st Airborne. And on the other side is the actual cross. There's a picture that says James Atlas Hamm of the cross that's there in the cemetery in Normandy, France, or St. Lawrence-sur-Mer, France. So that's probably the only one I can think of that actually passed away during a world war. But that would have been my great uncle.
Thanks, Tim. You have a good rest of your Memorial Day.
Oh, he's got to run? Okay.
Yeah, got to
run. All right. Hey, I have a great rest of the day.
He's in Alaska?
In Alaska. That's what I was just reading. Wow. Alaska. Wow, how about that? Oh, yeah. RD Ford says, loving those Ford Mustangs up front. Have time to see those posts. Okay, yeah. So one of the things I was looking at was in the top let's see, in the top 12 in the point standing, we got 6
Oh,
Fords.
he did 3 years in Alaska. Sorry.
Oh, we did 3. Okay. We got 6 Fords and 3 Toyotas and 3 Chevys in the top 12 in the points.
When Tim said something about me scratching, I thought he was talking about literally with the bugs.
Oh, yeah. Not your scratch off tickets.
Not my scratching.
So, yeah, if you haven't checked out Tracy's channel, she's got she does her scratch offs. She's going to start doing some other things on there. But it's DHammiam. It's her channel with 2 M's. That's right. So, one of the other things I noticed during the 600 was the synthetic turf. You know, when the car got off the track, I don't remember who it was, but he got off into the infield there, and just not the infield, but off into
Lasky did it too.
What did he? Okay, so he got off into
and saved it.
Yeah.
From hitting the wall.
Anyway, it didn't tear up the splitter. You know, like normally it would have dug into the old grass and then ripped it all to pieces, but this time it didn't. So I thought that was pretty neat. That was a big improvement there for Charlotte to do that. But the finishing order in the 600 was Martin Truex won the race, Martin Truex Jr., Joey Logano second, Kyle Busch third, Chase Elliott fourth, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. fifth, Chris Buescher sixth, Alex Bowman, Jimmy Johnson, William Byron, and Kevin Harvick rounded out the top 10. So, well, I was talking about Rocky Lynn earlier. So go and check out my video that I posted. I was at the Ramada Inn Monday night. Whenever he came back, there was the Flame for Freedom was passing through on its way to Washington, D.C. And that flame came through Statesville. They carry it inside. We did a little concert there. Rocky Lynn was singing his song. He sings. Anyway, you'll see the video on my YouTube right here. But he's got a bunch of different patriotic songs. And that flame is a never-ending flame. And it symbolizes never forgetting our soldiers that never returned from home. Never returned home.
Hey, D-Lo.
Yep. So, all right. So then stage 1 and 2 winners was Brad Keselowski. As you know, this race had 4 stages because it was a 600-mile race. So stages 3 and 4, Martin Truex Jr. won the race. Ended up winning stage 4 and won the race. So in the point standings now, going into Pocono, we have Kyle Busch leading, Joey Logano second, Chase Elliott, Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski fifth, Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, Kurt Busch, Ryan Blaney, Alex Bowman in 10th, Eric Almirola in 11th, and Daniel Suarez in 12th. And as I said earlier, there's 6 of those Fords, 3 Chevys, and 3 Toyotas. And then back into the Coca-Cola 600, I thought this was interesting. I was adding up. I saw these blue ovals, a rabbit. My dog's chasing a rabbit.
She needs to lose some weight, so
Yeah.
she needs to run.
She does, don't she? So I saw these blue ovals in the top 20. There's 12 Fords finished in the top 20 Coca-Cola 600. To me, that is crazy. That's awesome. And then 3 Toyotas and 5 Chevys. Anybody else notice that? There was 12 Fords up there in the top 20. Goes over there. We can sit out here and watch in our yard. You know, I have 11 acres, and it's beautiful country. It's kind of like being out in the mountains. I got out here and did a lot of bush hogging the other day, and Mom actually was saying, I want to tell you something. Thank you for doing that because it looks so good. She can sit down and look out the window, and it looks like they're in the mountains. We live in the mountains, so.
Because it's hilly.
Yep, it's very hilly. So we're going to go over some of the next race is going to be Pocono, which will be coming up next weekend. You know, also known as the Tricky Triangle. And so it's located in, and I'm going to have a little bit of a quiz. I'll ask you who was the first. Well, I'm going to ask you, who was the first Cup? What year was the first Cup race run at Pocono, and who was it won by? And I'm going to go ahead and tell you that the person that won is usually the answer to this question, who won the first race there at different tracks. So it's located in Long Pond, Pennsylvania, in case you didn't notice that, because one of the straightaways is actually called the Long Pond Straightaway. The capacity is 76,812. They broke ground in 1969 and opened the year I was born in 1971. It's a 2.5-mile asphalt track with 3 turns. The front stretch also known as the Long Pond Straightaway.
Chad got it right.
Yep, there you go, Chad Hodder. Petty, I assume. That's right. The Long Pond Straightaway is 3,740 feet. That's the longest straightaway of any of the NASCAR tracks, by the way. The back stretch is 3,055 feet. I said it like that. The short stretch is 1,780 feet. What is it?
I'm just laughing at you.
Oh, Pocono was designed by Indy 500 winner Roger Ward. Seems like I've heard that name before. I never really got much into IndyCar racing, but you know, Pocono has the longest and widest pit road.
But we did win Indy race this past week.
Oh, well, Roger Penske won.
Mm-hmm.
That is correct.
Ding, ding, ding.
Who was the driver?
Now you're asking tricky questions for me because
Yes.
I don't watch Indy.
I know, right? Okay, it was a 22 car, but I don't remember who the driver was. Maybe you guys can help me out on that. So, all right, so Pocono, the most wins at Pocono was by what driver? And he actually just retired a couple years ago. I'll let you answer that. And then 37 different Cup drivers have won Pocono. 22 drivers have won it multiple times, including this driver that has won it the most times. And he is now an announcer, if that tells you anything.
I think I know the answer.
All right. So,
and I'm not cheating. Looking at your.
And for you Ford fans, who was the youngest winner at Pocono? His age when he won matches his car number.
Amber says Jeff Gordon. Ding, 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 ding.
Yep. All right. So Jeff Gordon won the most times at Pocono with 6 wins. So now, who is the youngest winner? And the number that he races, no, I'm sorry. The age that he was when he won matches his car number. And while you're thinking about that,
is it my favorite person?
I can also ask you who the oldest winner was.
Joey.
Yep, Joey.
D'Lo says Joey. That's D'Lo, by the way.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, D'Lo got it right. It's the Joey Logano, and he was 22 years old when he won at Pocono, making him the youngest winner. And
that's your man. That's my boy.
That's what I thought so. And then who was the oldest winner? I'll give you a hint. Tracy's dad worked for this driver.
No.
Back in the day.
You're telling everybody that's listened before the answer.
Yes. Well, it just gives them a bonus for listening before. See, it's like if they listen before, then they get this, you know. I'm going to have a little space.
Just make sure there's no bugs in it. I see one bug in it. Little gnat with your grapes is fine. Bobby
there
Allison.
Is. No, but you're close.
Bobby's.
Well, he did. Your dad.
My
I think
dad
your dad
did work for Bobby, but no.
Yeah, that's not the answer. But you're close.
My dog was named after.
Except I don't believe that this driver is in the Hall of Fame yet. This past driver, I mean.
Mm-mm.
Well,
no, not Richard Petty either.
All right, well, y'all think about that. I'm going to go ahead and say Chevrolet has won Pocono 32 times. Ford has won 23 times, and Toyota 5 times. Which, you know, if you think about it, Toyota really hasn't been around.
I'm sorry.
Very long time.
Your thing.
So, all right.
Keep the bugs out.
All right. So, yes, Terry Quinn got it.
Yes, Handsome Harry.
That's right.
That was my doggie's name that died.
Yes. Okay, so the some of the NASCAR news we're going to go over. Did I answer? We already answered the quiz. Okay. The first race was won in 1974, won by Richard Petty. And then, yeah, we already got the answer for the other. So, in the news, Hall of Fame inductees announced this week. They are Tony Stewart, Whitehead Wilson, Buddy Baker, Bobby Labonte, and Joe Gibbs, who also is in another Hall of Fame. Y'all know what other Hall of Fame Joe Gibbs would be in?
Football?
Yeah. What's the football? What's it called?
Oh, heck. I know, because my kids used to play it all the time.
Oh, yeah. There you go. There's your answer,
Oh,
Chad.
NFL.
Yes.
I was thinking the actual video game.
Tracy, what? Oh, no. What's the NL stand for?
National Football League.
National Foosball League. What?
This is Quiz Tracy Day. Go
Okay.
ahead. Go ahead.
National Football League. You got that right. All right. So, NASCAR, another thing that happened this week in NASCAR news is, it's been kind of a slow year so far. There hasn't been a whole lot of silly season and drivers moving around. And, Coaches Hall of Fame. NASCAR acquires ISC, which is International Speedway. What corporation? I was like, I had mind blank there. And 25 billion. Good Lord.
The grapes is getting to him.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is. In a $2 billion deal. And now has control of 12 tracks, NASCAR does. And only tracks that are not owned by NASCAR are Pocono, Dover, and Indianapolis. So NASCAR is taking over the tracks. In case some of you didn't realize that NASCAR does not own all of the tracks.
Terry says Edsel Ford received a special Hall of Fame induction.
I didn't think that NASCAR owned California track either. Did they buy that one
There's
at some
a bug
point?
in there, Dave.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna get it. So I'm not really sure. So don't that 12 track thing. Don't hold me to that. But sorry, y'all got a bug in my. I decided to open up a bottle of red wine, which I think is good for my heart, whatever. But anyway, the bugs like to go in there and get them some.
Back on top of it.
All right, sweet grapes. All right, so does anybody have any questions? Because right now I'm opening it up. Ask away. This is my last week in working in NASCAR racing.
As we're watching the race, he says, this is the last Charlotte engine I'll ever build.
Yeah, I know that sometimes it's hard to say ever, but, chances are that's the last time that I'll ever build a Charlotte engine or NASCAR engine.
NASCAR engine, nonetheless.
Yeah.
Engine, perhaps not, but NASCAR, yes.
So, a win would have been really nice, but
Unless
it just didn't happen.
Driving. Then you could build my engine.
Oh, yes, there you go. We'll get Earnhardt back on the track.
Yeah.
Get Tracy out there.
The first female Earnhardt.
Yeah. There you go.
I'd have to legally change my name back, though. How would you feel about that?
That's fine. Rachel says it must be really hard to say goodbye. Yes, it is. I haven't had to say goodbye yet, but thinking about how hard it's going to be, it's going to be different for me.
But he's got something good to look forward to.
Yeah, I do. Different things I got going on with my business here, and spending time with my parents, those kind of things. Spending more time with my wife. Maybe we can go on some trips. When we go to the Bahamas,
I can quit working so much.
I don't think Scott's on here, is he? Beer Man.
No, they probably don't have signal.
Yep. So Beer Man and so Scott Trevison and Jana have been sending us some pictures from the Bahamas.
Yes, Dilo, he's leaving Roush. His last day is Friday.
Last day is Friday. Yep. But they've been sending us some pictures from down in the Bahamas, and it's made me
mad.
Really want to go back there.
In a good way, mad.
Yes, looks like they've been doing some fishing. So somewhere down in the Bahamas, there's are those wild boars?
That was pigs.
Pigs, okay.
And they really do have what they call Pig Island.
That's what I thought.
And they were on The Bachelor.
Huh?
On The Bachelor, one episode, on their dates, on their group dates, they went to that Pig Island.
Oh, okay. I knew I'd seen that before.
David likes watching The Bachelor for the bikinis.
Yes.
Yeah, he does.
When's the last time I watched that show? It's been a while.
Watched it. We didn't watch it this year.
Yep. Thank you, Brian. Yeah, it's I think I'm gonna enjoy my time. You know, it's been a trip. 25 years in NASCAR.
Raise your hand if you did not know till tonight that he was retiring.
Raise your hand.
There's a little raise your hand on the. There's a little hand emoji.
Yes. All right.
D'Lo says me.
Yep. Did not know it, and I still have people coming up to me at work and saying, I heard a rumor that you were leaving." Yep. So that's still. I guess this week it'll be.
His little group knows, but not the whole company.
Yeah.
There's 100 and some employees.
Yeah, it hasn't really been completely announced. It's company wide, but yeah, Brian's son Logan's moved down to Mooresville, so yeah, you can come out and see us anytime. We'll have a big time.
Yeah.
So, if anybody has any questions, throw them at me now. Speak now, or forever hold your peace. Because I think that's about all the notes I had from this past weekend. And going into Pocono, yes, I am still going to do race recaps because, NASCAR's in me. NASCAR's been in me since I was a kid. My earliest memories, as far back as I can remember, I was a NASCAR fan. So I'll still be doing these chats because I enjoy it. What do you think NASCAR is trying to do with the track purchasing? What do you think its strategy is now? I heard several crew guys passed out during the Xfinity race. That was Terry Quinn says, yeah, I don't doubt that Saturday was hotter than even Sunday was. Well, I mean, I used to just hang out back there and stay in the shade and keep hydrated, that kind of stuff. But, and Rachel, you're asking me what do I think NASCAR is trying to do? So I don't really know. I've heard different rumors, and I'm not gonna spread rumors, but all of them, yeah.
Thank you, D'Lo.
I've heard everything from, and I've been hearing it for a couple of years now, that NASCAR is going to go to one manufacturer, one type of car. They did with the IROC, IROC series. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but who knows? Really, NASCAR, you don't know from year to year what's going to change. I can see them doing some fans back in the stands. I can see some of the stuff they're doing is helping. I actually think that the racing is better now because you can see the cars getting up side by side and banging on each other, and they don't wreck. I mean, they do wreck, but I'm saying it used to. You could take the air off the car beside you, and they would spin out, in no time. And I think now they're actually being able to beat and bang on each other. It makes for really cool racing. So. What was the reason so much the tire issues, long race, heat? Okay, I think she's asking about the heat, probably.
About everybody's tires going flat.
Well, anytime you have a lot of heat and there's a lot of heat in the track, you're going to have some tire wear.
Is it expansion?
There's different things. There's expansion in the tire. There's softer rubber. The rubber gets hot. The tire gets hot. Yeah, sometimes it gets so hot and it could melt the bead on the tire. All right, get off there. So, what is it like to be a jackman for the Coca-Cola 600? It is a very long race. I mean, you're talking back then, I think we had, 10, 11, 12 pit stops. It just seems like is this race ever going to be over? Actually, it's like, is this day ever going to be over with? Because it's such a long day. Most people don't realize it.
4-hour race.
At least. What time did it started at? What, 6?
6, and it didn't end until 11.
Yeah, that's 5 hours. So, whenever I would go, what was I going to say? Shoot.
How hot it was.
Yeah, it was. But most people don't realize this, but we get to the racetrack about 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. So if the race doesn't start till noon, 1, 2, the 600, we get there around 11. So you're talking, because we got to get there, we got to beat the traffic, we got to get a decent parking spot, or we're going to get stuck after the race. So, we get there at 11 to beat everything, and then we're gonna, hang out a little while, and it's hot. It seems like the heat's more generated there because there's so much pavement around, so much asphalt.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure you stay hydrated and all that good stuff. So, but yeah, and then so by the time the race starts, it's almost like I'm ready to go home at that point. And then by the time the race is over, it's just like complete exhaustion. And it would always take me till about Wednesday before I would actually recover from going to the racetrack, because you walk so many miles. You put in, it's exhausting. You're out in the heat, all that good stuff. But that's pretty much the deal with that. The 600 was the worst. The 600 and Dover, when it was 500 miles, that was a long day too.
Rachel says, was it better to do it in the night? Was 600 better as a night race when you were at DHammiam?
Yeah, it was. It just made for a long day, because then we're racing into the night instead of the race getting over with and then us getting out of there, But it was better. Having the races at night were definitely
cooler.
Yeah, they were definitely cooler and better. Richmond and Bristol, those races I actually enjoyed doing. I always thought they should race on Saturday nights, because then we could have a Sunday to recover. And instead of working what I used to call 8 days a week.
Yes. Am I a Logano fan? Yes. Yeah. And who are you?
Delo's asking, Tracy, are you a Logano fan as well? Are you a fan of David?
Well, of course I'm a fan of David. Otherwise, I'd be dumb.
Oh, yeah? Yes. Thank you, Brian Spencer. Said, God bless and good luck in the future. I hope you and Tracy find your happy place, and I'll see you soon. Tell Tracy to tell her dad hi. We'll do that. Or we'll get over there and see him again. And Terry Quinn says, do you have a different pit crew fire suits for the spring races versus the fall race? Like lighter material? We didn't when I was going. I think probably the hottest year was in '99. We had these black Coors Light fire suits when I was jetman for Sterling Marlin, and they were hot.
Back in the day, they did have short sleeve shirts, but then they converted to fire suits.
Yeah. Well, in '95, '96, we wore shirts. We didn't have to wear fire suits. The only people that had to wear fire suits were, you wanted the gas man, of course, and then the rear tire changer, because he's back there with the gas. A lot of times he gets splashed.
Gas is what Dad did.
With the gas.
Wore short sleeve shirts.
But I would just wear short sleeve shirts from '95 and '96 as a jackman. And then from then on, we wore fire suits because it pretty much became mandatory. And then I got out before we started having to wear helmets, which would have made it even worse. I didn't understand, D'Lo, what you're asking. David, why you driver? So type that again. Chad Hatter says, I say all the tracks should have lights and run Saturdays to allow travel days for fans and crew, also in case of weather. Absolutely. That's a good point, too, about the weather. Rachel, I like Saturday night racing, but does NASCAR put races on Sunday? I think that maybe the local tracks could take the night off when NASCAR's in town, because they're only in town 1 or 2 times a year, So that's something to think about.
Do you want to know who your favorite driver is?
Oh, who's my favorite driver?
Past or present?
Oh. So
past.
In the past, when I was a kid, okay, I'll just start way back. My favorite driver was David Pearson in the mid-'70s, and then Kel Yarborough came along, and then he was my favorite driver. And then in the early '80s, it was Darrell Waltrip, and probably through all the '80s, it was Darrell Waltrip. And then, of course, when I got into NASCAR, my favorite drivers were, Kyle Petty was the first driver I worked for, and then Sterling Marlin. I always liked Jeff Gordon too. Now I should go back to around 1990. I liked Jeff Gordon. I thought that he was he was very impressive. He's about my age. I think he's only a year younger than me. So I liked him through the years. And then when I got to meet him at the track and saw him about every weekend, always a super nice guy. So I think I answered that. And then as a engine builder, I liked Matt Kenseth was one of my favorites. And of course, I like Logano. I like Joey Logano and I like Brad Keselowski. Those are the two drivers that come around the most. I liked Carl Edwards. Carl Edwards was great. He was one of the only drivers that would actually give us something every Christmas. You know, one of the things that he would do.
I like listening to Clint talk.
Yeah, Clint Boyer he seems like, I mean, you know, I've actually never met him, so I can't really say what he's like in person, but he seems like he'd be a stand-up kind of guy, somebody that I would get along with really good.
Is Sterling the last driver you worked for?
No, actually, in 2001, so I jacked some for Sterling in 2000 because I'd had my shoulder surgery. I ended up jacking for Blaze Alexander in 2000. But in 2001, I was the jack man for David Steele in the 11 channel lock car in the Busch series. And then he decided he didn't want to drive anymore. So we had, let's see, Marty Houston, Ron Hornaday, Todd Bodine, Jay Sauter, Jay Sauter. A bunch of different drivers drove for us that year. So I had opportunity to get to know all these other drivers. So I don't know the actual one that I was the last time I did a pit stop for. And then there was years when I did for Nemechek in the Busch series. I actually jacked for Chuck Norris's son, Eric Norris, in a Winston West car out in Phoenix one year. So, you know, I got to work with a bunch of different drivers. So
Rachel says, did you ever want to drive a race NASCAR?
Well, I actually had a go-kart, and I drove in a neighborhood track, and I drove out at Millbridge for probably 3 years. I drove and raced, and that was a good time. I actually really enjoyed doing that, and that was a huge adrenaline rush. But as far as driving actually in NASCAR, I never thought it was possible, so I just didn't even bother. You know, I didn't have the experience growing up doing it as a young man. Now looking back, I don't think anything's really ever impossible. If you want it bad enough, you go after it. And that's kind of the way I went after. I didn't really have the desire to be a driver. I had a desire to be a jackman and an engine builder. So I decided a long time ago that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I did. So really the lesson there is for anybody watching this, if you decide that you want to do something, go for it. I mean, this is because of the troops, the people that have died for our freedoms, you have the freedom to go and get whatever you want. But, you know, you have to get it by getting your education, getting mentors, you know, learn from people that have done stuff before, read books. Sit down with people that have been around a lot longer than you. Don't think you know everything.
There's a saying,
but
hang around who you want to be like.
Yes. You are like the 5 people that you hang around the most. It's basically. And if you want to be like somebody, then get to be friends with them, and absolutely learn all that you can from them.
She gave up on rabbit hunting. She's coming back.
Yeah, I guess so. Yes. Steve Grissom in the channel lock car. Steve Grissom was he was in the Cartoon Network car in 97, 96, I believe, is when he started with that car for Bayhackle Communications. It was Gary Bechtel. When I hear all these numbers and names, all this stuff jumps in my head. But there was the channel lock car had been around for a little while. There was actually a Sammy Swindell, who drove the sprint car the same year that I was jacking for the Xfinity car. So that was it. Okay. Does anybody have any more questions? Because I'm going to wrap it up. And if you don't mind, click like on this video and subscribe. Hit that bell notification so that every Monday night, whenever I come on and do my live, you'll get a notification on your phone or your computer.
We have to change the nights too.
Yeah, but we probably won't have to anymore since I'm going to be home or I'm going to be around.
Just in case.
But yeah, so anyway, hit the bell notifications, and that way you'll see whenever I'm going to be on. So thanks everybody for tuning in.
Go watch my videos.
Go watch Tracy's videos. I am DHammiam. Yes, and it was great to see everybody. Thank you all. And if you have any more questions, any more comments, you can always come back and comment after the video is over.
Those comments are public. These disappear.
Yeah, so you can come back on and comment and ask me a question. I get a notification on my phone that says somebody commented. And check out my other videos, see if you like any of those. And if you got suggestions on what you would like me to add for this show, then let me know. And we're going to keep doing this from now on because I really enjoy it. I really love NASCAR, and I want to keep going. I enjoy talking to all my friends here. So y'all stay tuned for next Monday. And one of these days, maybe we'll get Beer Man back in here and we can go over and hang out at his tiki bar.
What?
Maybe we'll do my tiki bar sometime. What is
Chad
it?
says one of his friends won 500,000 off the scratch off.
300,000. That's
Is that 300?
But what's the difference?
What's-
305,000 amongst
300
friends.
or
That's pretty
500,
dang
I
good
mean.
there, Chad. Wow. Dude, were you friends? Maybe rest of that luck off on us.
Yeah.
All right.
Remember, my
Yes.
Facebook says
Thank
that
you, D-Lo.
something
Thanks,
will
Nancy.
happen in June.
Thank you, Terry.
Something's
Thank you,
going to
Linda.
happen in June.
Something's going to happen in June is what
It's going
Tracy's
to bring tears of joy to my face.
Tracy's forecast. Whatever
That's
you call
what
it.
it said. One of
Oh,
those
yeah.
stupid games that you do.
Yeah, one of those silly games. All right, everybody. Thank you
But
so
it's all
much.
fun.
Yes, it's all in fun. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
June is my birthday, Nancy says.